About 20 minutes and yeah, that's what's back. I never had it.
Just attendance. Start from the
Brought all my friends with
Want me first or later on? Hello, how are you?
Everybody stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Lord, as we gather this day to report for the people of the village, grant us wisdom, compassion, and understanding. Amen.
I'd like to say that there's some seats out front if you want to be heard, and we could be heard. You could come down a little closer.
big room. First thing on the agenda is the continuation of the public hearing on the rezoning for the Novoletti property. Anybody wants to go? Nick?
My name is Nick Ruiz. I'm a resident here in the village. I used to be on the board and good enough. So the housing project. Two ideas I guess came to mind when I was thinking about this housing project. But one being, I guess, two different angles really. The Tagwood Terrace. So Tagwood Terrace, if any of you are familiar with it, it's in Appalachian. I grew up there. It was built from the 50s until I think the late 80s, and then they had an extension at the top there in post-2005. But basically that extension at the top there, it's 49 acres. I think there's 25 parcels, and it was built post-2005 up through 2015. The empty parcels, they went for about at least $60K a piece. Fully developed homes now assessed anywhere from $114,000 to $300,000 each. Average 190, 200K on tax value. The new extension of the high-end homes up there, larger tax assessment makes for a large source of tax revenue with no pilot programs. They pay full taxes, families live there, higher skilled, higher educated people that spend lots of money and pay lots of money in taxes. The newer and larger homes up there at the top, like I said, they're in the newer part or newer section of Tagwood Terrace. Most of the terrace, it's about 750 homes, was built prior, and I think it finished up in the late 80s. So those homes are a little bit smaller, are a little bit older. These homes at the top are newer and larger for the most part. But however, they do provide a halo effect. Having those homes up there, those larger homes, and having the, I guess, newer homes, larger tax base up there, they're actually going to provide a halo effect where a lot of those homes below, in the terrace below, those other 725 homes, their tax values aren't going to go down. They only go up by having those larger, nicer homes there. A project similar in nature, obviously this is a different area, smaller. It's about 49 acres up there at the top of Tagwood Terrace where they extended it. This, I want to say, is about 19 acres. Is that what it is? Like I said, 25 up there, roughly about 2 acres a parcel, 2 acres for each. Large increase in incomes in the community. We have a large employer here that everybody knows, Lockheed. I have a lot of people that I know that work at Lockheed. Some choose to live in this area, in the greater Wego area. A lot choose not to. A lot choose to live in Maine Endwell. A lot of them choose to live in Vestal. A lot of my friends live in Appalachian. A lot of them live in newer developments, places that were built in the last 15 years. Endicott, Vestal, Appalachian, places like that. It would be nice to give them an opportunity to live in a place like Wego. So, looking at that area and looking at that where that is, it would be great to do something similar to that. I know that's not on the board now, but that's another alternative idea to this. It's an alternative idea to what you guys are proposing. Like I said, no pilot program, paying full taxes, paying more taxes than any of the other homes in the nearby Halstead development, more than likely newer homes. Likewise, that Halstead development. Does anybody in this room live in the Halstead development? There we go, a few of you. Could only increase the value of your home. Could only bring up the value of your home. Another angle then, my second idea on that. So, affordable housing. You need affordable housing, right? So, affordable housing. Another project was brought before this board when I was on it, being the mini homes down in the Central Ave pit. If any of you know what I'm talking about, as you may remember. That project was brought in front of us, and it went away, I guess, for lack of a better term, but it was a project where they're going to build mini homes, about 15, 17 of them, roughly. Turns out the ground wasn't the right consistency makeup to make it economically viable, really. So the concrete decking with the pylons is just going to be, it wasn't going to be feasible. It was going to be way too much money. The last time we had discussed it, when I was on the board, it was an idea of maybe fill. And then the fill idea, I don't recollect what happened after that. Leanne may be able to better provide information on that. But the fill part of it, there was a stipulation, whatever you take out of a floodplain, or whatever you put in a floodplain, you gotta take out basically. One thing that the DEC has talked about in the past, and even recently, is possibly dredging the Owego Creek. They gotta put it somewhere, same floodplain. Seems like a match made in heaven to me, but. Now, I've mentioned affordable housing, and I mentioned this project because that project was smaller homes at roughly 50, 60K purchase price, probably 80 or 90, okay, 80 or 90. Either way, smaller homes, 80 or 90K, paying full taxes, no pilot program. Last we heard of it, there wasn't when we last had it in front of us. Also hooked up to sewer, hooked up to the water. So that was where that project was, and that was in the downtown district where you could walk everywhere. And that really, I mean, to me, that's more of that's closer to an affordable idea versus increasing the tax base. There's really two ways you can come at this. We need taxes, guys. When I was on this board, I was beating the drum when I was up there. I'll beat the drum now. We gotta have more people paying taxes. We gotta have more tax base. It's gotta happen. And so that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it, you want affordable housing. Let's look at mini homes. Let's look at something else, like that. My worry is that if we put the project as it is now up near the Halstead development, I'm worried about the value of the Halstead development homes. It's a different home, it's a different style of home, and it's a different development than what you guys are proposing to put there. I'm worried about the value of your homes. I'm worried that when you go to sell them, you won't be able to sell them for what you thought. I'm also, and then let's just say, out of the air, I mean, if all the homes in Halstead even went down 1% in assessments, are we making it up on the other end by putting a new project? Why not put a project that brings the values of their homes up and brings all the taxes up? Or like I said, maybe we look at both projects. So, anyways, that's my piece on it. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Jeannie, I think I saw you.
I'm Jean D. I live in the Turtletown neighborhood. Last year, we went through trying to get the parcel rezoned after the project fell through by Brick Conway. I guess instead of debating whether it's a good project or not, my concern is whether we should rezone this or not. We had to jump through hoops to get it rezoned. It took a lot of time and a lot of energy. We had neighborhood meetings of our own. We went to a lot of village meetings. And with every meeting, we made sure that everybody in the neighborhood was notified by a flyer in their mailbox that a meeting was happening and encouraging them to get involved and be heard. We were questioned by the board about, are all the residents being heard? Is this everybody's opinion or is it a small group? So we went through and had petitions signed. We went to every single residence. It was important to get not spot zoning, but the entire neighborhood. So we went down every street of Turtletown multiple times and got as many signatures as we could. And in fact, out of everyone we talked to, there was only one person that was kind of ambivalent. Nobody was against what we were saying. And still we were questioned about whether or not this should go through. We had to provide pictures, talk about the character of the neighborhood. And I'm happy about all that. I thought that was great. It should be questioned, and it should be something that the entire neighborhood is in agreement with, because it's the value of their homes that are going to be affected by this. It's their neighborhood. They should be made aware. And from what I'm hearing from people, they're finding out about this kind of last minute. When there were meetings, which I do appreciate that they had meetings, question and answer sessions. But I heard complaints that nobody knew that they were coming up, and the only way they found out were people that weren't actually a part of the development plan. It was just people that wanted to make sure residents knew because they're part of the village. I feel like it's not being held to the same standard that we needed to be held to when we went through this. I think everybody, at least a large majority, should be in agreement. And maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but how do we know if nobody's signed a petition, if nobody's gone door to door and talked to people? I just feel like that needs to happen.
Oh, yes. I don't know if the board's aware of this, but I know of a parcel of land, and it's where Washington Gladden is, on top of the hill, there used to be the playground. There's acreage up there, it's all flat, it's all plateau. And that's off the flood, way off the floodplain. And that's an area right up there where they could, perhaps, think about putting in this project. It's outside the town, the only disadvantage, of course, it's outside the town. I imagine, I don't know who owns it, probably whoever owns the school would own that land. But that's another area possibly for them to think about.
Can we just get your name so we can add your comment to the?
Well, oh, my name's Eric.
Okay. All right, anybody else?
My name is Devon Gray, and thank you, Mayor, for allowing us to do a little presentation today. I was asked earlier about opposition, and I don't know, I don't like that word opposition, because I believe all of us really care about our community. And we know that the developer is very good in what she does, and she has the highest standards for her agency. The issues that we're hearing, and there's nothing with the sellers, of course, that's their land to sell and to move forward. But we're looking together as a community, and that skyline means something to us. And unlike a lot of properties, and listening to everyone about the transparency and the standards, that's a huge issue here. And again, we appreciate the time, and as we're going through this, we hope that you listen, board and community, because there are other factors to consider. We could continue having debates on various issues of what, if it's going to affect housing values or not. We could continue that. And you can find studies to support either case. Today, it's about our community and preserving its history. So if you would just entertain us, and we'll keep it short. Excuse my technology. I'll try not to any headshots, okay? We did do a trial run earlier, so it'll come on. It's open. Money.
I don't know how to get it down.
There we go. We'll have to excuse Sherry and I for teaming up on this, okay? So again, the property that we're looking at, it's right in our community, right in our skyline. And before voting to rezone today, we want you to think about yesterday, today, and forever tomorrows, okay? This is going to impact forever. Okay? Oops, let's start by maybe starting the slideshow. Let's see, it's me. Yeah, it's better. Okay. Things to consider. The Tioga County, New York Housing Study, December 2017. Had an opportunity to review it. Good study. Depends on what lens you want to look from it. We could argue either angle, okay, with the study. And we'll talk a little bit about that real quick. We want to look at Owego's current presentation, what we look like today and what we want to look like tomorrow and the future. The cost, and again, our forever tomorrow. Okay? Sorry about the screen, and I have copies for people. The Tioga County, New York Housing Study, December 2017, the recommendations, you know what? Agree. Either angle, okay? Really a snapshot of the recommendations, viability, sustainability, via property tax revenue. We agree, okay? We need that money for our community, okay? We want to concentrate on the relationships between development and sustainability. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to argue that. The next one is offer diversity of housing options that preserve and upgrade the existing stock together with new construction. Yes, definitely. Redefine and revitalize neighborhoods with targeted investment strategies. Absolutely. And create and maintain vibrant community centers. You hear that? It's all about our community, the heart of it. Okay? No one's disputing that. It's just how do we get there? okay? Think about this proposed project, okay? Now, how do we get there? We've heard many different town meetings, great conversations about build the houses and the jobs will come, sustainability, people will stay, okay? Chicken before the egg, horse before the cart. Think about that, okay? The study itself was really interesting because some of their jobs that are growing, guess where they are? Guess where they are? If you read it, they're in Waverly. They're all in Waverly. What's going on in Waverly? We have to think about this. What is going on in Waverly? I don't have to answer this. You don't need to be a developer. You don't have to be an academic person. Okay? Take a drive down there. What do they have down there? What's their industry? Healthcare. They've invested in something. Look how well it's developing. Okay? Let's look at Ithaca and their development. Why can't we be like that? That's what we want to do. Okay? Owego's current presentation. Okay? We keep hearing from people sitting in these meetings, in the audience, you hear revitalize, revitalize. Let's revitalize Fox Street. Make it a beautiful place. Great people, great homes. Fix and rebuild what we love. Owego already has 5 housing complexes. Okay? Owego Gardens is expanding 32 additional living units. Wow. And some of the neighbors have had some issues with that. We don't want to burn anybody out with these things. We want to iron these matters out. We want to see what we really need. We want to serve our county first. Okay? Again, we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket saying, okay, yep, we listened to you. We built these houses. Now where are our jobs? Okay? We want to have a mix, don't we? Okay? All the projects start off shiny and new, don't they? They're beautiful places, okay? But with time, sometimes they lose their sparkle. You know, you can fall across hard times. Who can't? Especially if you don't have the supports and resources we've been talking about in the community in place. You've been hearing us talk about that we need to expand. Jobs is one, healthcare, transportation. These are all issues we need to succeed and to address. Remember, this property is the skyline of historic Owego. We want to preserve our history, yet promote development through structures that will glorify our beautiful Owego paradise for today and forever tomorrows. When you cross that bridge, okay, from our beautiful historic community, and you just can't rebuild anything there, can you? You have to go through all these zoning issues and boards from our history society, okay? Think about that. That's our skyline. That's what we represent. Oops, sorry. And I have to say that unfortunately, Scott had a beautiful song here for you. Scott did. He came home from school one day, and he said, I need you to play this song. And I'm trying to play it right now. I don't know if there's anybody technically advanced in here, but it means a lot to him. It's Paradise. And I don't know why it's not playing. Give me just a minute, Scott, and I'm sorry, buddy. Let's see. You always have to have something. Nice touch, Scott. Okay? If you look, this is coming from the Court Street Bridge over. That skyline, okay? It's beautiful. It's our paradise, as Scott said. We want to build something that has history and it maintains it. Okay, you're not hearing us say, don't rebuild, don't do that. Just be selective, okay? Owego's current presentation right now. We continue to lose jobs, and other areas continue to grow as we talked about Waverly. So we talked about what are they doing first, okay? Again, they've built into their industry, okay, not just their industry, various things that tourist attractions, and then they've built their houses along the side of that. Now, we've been building these complexes, okay? When are we gonna start doing the other side? We've gotta start investing in something other than just housing. These are some of the jobs we miss. Look around, take a drive around our community. You recognize these vacant buildings. What an opportunity, okay, to revitalize our village, our community. Recognize these? These are right here in our community. It's a lot, isn't it? Don't get depressed. Yes, they're vacant, okay? No reason, because you know what? With growth, things can change. And some of us have a vision, a plan. Okay? The proposed project, thanks to one of our board members who isn't here at our last meeting, estimated would be $7,500 in village tax revenue. Okay, $7,500 a year for this project that they would be contributing to our tax base. $7,500. Anybody pay more than that in taxes? Yeah, there's quite a few, okay? So when we invest in these housing complexes, we gotta look at other things too, okay? What we're getting back, okay? The benefits, the costs. Right now, we know we lack public transportation, okay? We know on the south side, tonight, when you go home, take a drive over there. There are no lights. You've heard this before. We don't have to keep talking about them. These are all common things that we've had. Potential risk of the residents not being invested in their neighborhood and community. That's a potential, you know, people move in and out. The noise, the risk of increased cost of Tioga County public assistance, safety, increased traffic, drainage issues, no sidewalks, increased costs on law enforcement, emergency personnel, increased crime, financial hardships, especially when jobs aren't available. Sometimes people make poor decisions, sometimes. Tax breaks, you know, $7,500 isn't a lot per year. Landscape, again, we already talked about that, will be disturbed. Risk of increased costs associated with medical assistance. Sewer concerns, increased costs on schools, okay? Seems like there's a lot of cost involved with housing developments. Mentioned to you before, okay? Sure, we can keep building these houses, and yes, we will fill the beds. We'll fill them. But again, as we know, is that there's a lottery. Residents can be from anywhere, okay? Broome County, we've talked about our sister counties going through this hardship right now, and the debt that they're incurring, the lawsuits that they're fighting for this. Can we afford that in Tioga County? Sorry, but do we want this to be our new paradise when we come over that bridge, a housing complex? We've learned that there were other ideas and interested parties for this property. Again, people weren't aware that it was for sale. There's a lot of people in this community that are really interested in preserving the historical perspective of the Owego and the skyline. And yet they want to see development. There's ideas on what could happen. There's one specific that was really creative, and they were looking at a project that could potentially increase property values, tax revenues, create jobs on every level, would be no tax, no anticipated fiscal burden on the community, and most importantly, the plan sounded like it would benefit every stakeholder, including the sellers and everyone in this room tonight and out there. This dream could not be shared earlier, as the sale of this property was not published in a local market, and details would be shared with private parties if afforded the opportunity. This is a committee that wants to see Owego grow. They want to see people want to stay here forever and make it a landmark. The idea is ingenuity. It's a think tank, okay? My grandfather told me a story years ago that a man traveling through our area came in and said, I want to build a college on this hill. And you know what the village did? They laughed at him. Anybody hear this story passed down? They laughed at him, and guess where he went? Ithaca. This think tank exists within our community, and they've got some great ideas on how we can make our community thrive like these other communities, if not set precedents, maybe we're being overzealous to be the lead in the country. We have got a lot of talent in this community and a lot of passion. No one should pressure us to make a decision worth $7,500 in one night that could last us forever. It's worth the community, it's worth all the stakeholders to research every idea. So tonight, in this room, by show of hands, who does not support this? Raise your hand if you don't support this. Look around you tonight, Board. Mr. Mayor, when you took office, you said you would listen to us. Listen to our ideas. This is just $7,500. We deserve time. The sellers deserve it to make a good decision, all of us, all stakeholders. Vote no tonight if you're going to vote. And most importantly,